From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. Thanks for joining us. Cronkite News is dedicated to coverage of stories from across Arizona on topics ranging from borderlands to technology. Tonight, we're taking a look at consumer news, from efforts to combat food insecurity with new types of plants to a look at Arizona's booming rose industry.
Some valley biologists are turning to Arizona's desert climate to help feed the hungry all around the world. Cronkite News reporter Cassidy McDonald gives us a look at the research.
According to United Nations Food and Agriculture report, an estimated 795 million people around the world suffer from chronic undernourishment. Many scientists say this is largely due to increased droughts and a rapid decrease in the amount of crops and land available to produce fresh food. ASU biologist Roberto Gaxiola hopes to help solve this problem by creating new plants that can survive in harsher conditions.
We have abuse the land. You need to have plants that grow with low fertilization regimens and still produce high amounts of yield.
Roberto Gaxiola and his team at ASU School of Life Sciences are able to manipulate plants to grow larger through increasing the presence of a gene.
We're working with the proton pyrophosphatase, a gene that is present in every single green thing and every plant. It's also present in bacteria. It's much to say that this gene alone will help to solve the food insecurity problem. It's a step in the right direction.
The genetically modified or transgenic plants that Gaxiola grows have stronger root systems, allowing for the plants to better absorb water and nutrients.
The upregulation of this gene has been tested in at least 17 crops, and in all of them the result is the same. Plants are larger, they are drought resistant, they produce higher yields.
Transgenic plants often receive negative attention due to unproven health claims and tight regulation. Many believe in order for transgenic plants to become mainstream, the public's perception will need to change.
Whenever people talk about transgenic plants, I think people directly invoke of thoughts like Frankenstein, something that's scary that comes out of the lab. There are no scientific studies proving the fact that transgenics are harmful in any way.
Gaxiola and his team believe the use of transgenic plants will allow for more people to have access to fresh food in the future.
You can actually grow crops more efficiently in lands that are now not very useful. They have the capacity of acidifying the soil better, and looks like that helps the plants to acquire nutrients.
With climate change and diminishing land, the team believes transgenic plants could be the solution to feeding our growing population. Gaxiola's method has proven to be effective for foods such as rice, tomatoes, lettuce, and alfalfa. Gaxiola's transgenic plants are also salt and drought tolerant, meaning fields with salty soil could now be usable. Cassidy McDonald, Cronkite News.
More than 5,000 people were homeless in Maricopa County last year, according to a recent report. That number has remained about the same for 4 years. Reporter Allison Gargaro went to see volunteers who help the homeless community.
As the sun rises on a Saturday morning, people who are homeless line up at the corner of 12th Street and Madison and are greeted with smiles. A volunteer group called Project Humanities believes each person deserves to be treated with respect.
When I got in that line this morning after getting out of cast, I was kind of sad, kind of miserable. But just put my mind on something else, you know. I'm feeling good.
The Maricopa Association of Governments has counted the number of homeless people in the area for several years.
Generally, we have about 6,000 homeless folks every year when we do our annual point-in-time count in the end of January. This gives us an indication of the overall issue of the homelessness and how we're tracking year to year.
Project Humanities hands out used clothing, shoes, and new toiletries to those in need.
The appreciation, the gratitude has just been outstanding, and it really does show this need for compassion and for empathy, but a lot for self-reflection in terms of how we look at people and make assumptions about them without really knowing their stories.
Some people have been homeless for years, but others, like Donald Barber, have become homeless only recently. They all have one thing in common: no money.
I'm in shock. I got evicted 3 weeks ago, by surprise I might add, and I'm just trying to get housing, trying to get back to some kind of normal life.
And Project Humanities will be there to help him in the meantime. In Phoenix, Allison Gargaro, Cronkite News.
Project Humanities meets just south of Liberty Park near the state capitol every other Saturday morning, and volunteers are welcome.
With the heat rising in summer just around the corner, it's important to keep kids safe around the pool. Blakely McHugh tells us what the YMCA is doing to promote water safety.
Thanks, Emily. With 30 water-related incidents and 11 deaths in Maricopa and Pinal counties already this year, the YMCA is trying to do something to change that.
It breaks our heart when we watch the news and you hear that story. There was a drowning in Mesa. There was a drowning in Maryvale, and I think there's a common feeling that could have been prevented.
The Phoenix Fire Department, Phoenix Children's Hospital, SRP, and Drowning Prevention Coalition of Arizona came together last week to stress the importance of water safety. The YMCA opened the rest of their pool locations over the weekend. Preparing for the summer, they want to make sure that kids and adults are smart around water. Fire Captain Daniel Cheatham says that the amount of water incidents and deaths this year have already surpassed the amount at this time last year.
To protect the community, we all need to be prepared. Classes, whether it be swimming, CPR, barriers around the pools, the devices, a life jacket if they're not prepared to swim, an alarm on the door. There's a lot of preventive measures, but they're all important when it comes to preventing drownings and water safety.
To honor the 11 lives lost already this year to drownings in Maricopa and Pinal counties, 11 pairs of shoes were displayed. To try to prevent those numbers from rising, the YMCA is teaching the ABCs of swimming and implementing a new swimming curriculum.
So they'll be able to move up through the stages, and the first 3 stages are all based on survival skills, and then we get into stroke development.
The new program makes it easier for parents to understand what their child is learning and making sure that all swimmers have basic survival skills.
Throw these in the water.
The YMCA instructors and Arizona officials are not the only ones concerned with the safety of swimmers. Parents also want to see their kids safe over the summer.
Just in case for scary situations, there's times where he's a kid, he can run in. Actually, when we got here, he thought, he doesn't know how to swim yet, but he thought he knew how to swim. He was just ready to jump in, so.
With the National Water Safety Month coming to a close, it's important that everyone knows how to be safe in and around the water.
The YMCA has swimming classes for all ages, and financial assistance can be provided for those that need it. In the Broadcast Center, Blakely McHugh, Cronkite News.
We all know technology is reaching into new areas of our lives every day. Los Angeles Bureau reporter Lauren Negrete discovered how one California company is using tech to tap into the medical marijuana industry.
Santa Monica, California, home to many tech startups, but none quite like this.
Nug is the leading online cannabis marketplace for getting cannabis delivery. We saw a huge opportunity in terms of being able to offer this convenience to bring an on-demand technology to the world of cannabis.
That's right, drug delivery. More than 100,000 users have signed up with Nug.
We just saw tons of ways that technology could really bridge this gap, bridge the knowledge gap, bridge the convenience gap.
Nug MD is the company's one-stop shop to get a valid medical marijuana card, which is required to purchase until January, when recreational dispensaries are allowed. Through Nug, doctors give prescriptions to patients like Tom through video chat.
You can talk to a doctor and they'll tell you whether or not they think it's right for you, and so I did, and I signed up, and it was fairly straightforward.
After speaking with a doctor, patients are emailed an electronic version of their medical card to use immediately.
Signed up for the site somewhere in the middle of the afternoon. And by that evening, I had a prescription delivered to me.
Milligan says the merging of high tech and weed is creating a booming industry.
I mean, we see technology companies entering this space in a huge diversity of ways. You know, our online marketplace is just one of them.
Nug works with 130 California dispensaries, and Milligan hopes to partner with those in Arizona soon. In Santa Monica, Lauren Negrete, Cronkite News.
Over 40,000 patients received their medical marijuana card through Nug MD last year.
What are you doing? Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
A new 27-acre composting facility opened today. Cronkite News reporter Emma Lockhart looks into how the city of Phoenix is making trash valuable.
Having a weekly option for the city to pick up the rest of our yard waste that we couldn't compost was a huge benefit.
Mitra Kazi is one of the Phoenix residents already helping to fill the new composting station in Phoenix today. She gets a compost can from the city of Phoenix and fills it with organic greens and food waste.
When we studied what residents throw away, 50% of that's at the curbside container is organic material. So that's about 195,000 tons of material that could be used for other purposes.
When the organic waste is brought to the facility, water is first added to it. Microorganisms then start to grow and get to work.
Our job is to sanitize it, use the heat to make it pure and clean, and also to get rid of all the bad smells. All we have to do is provide the oxygen to the microbes. They do all the work for us.
The organic material is made into soil, mulch, and turf with advanced tools and technology. The facility also means a boost in job growth.
This is going to create anywhere from 10 to 12 jobs initially, and then over time it could expand to 20 to 24 jobs.
The new composting facility is another element of the City of Phoenix's plan towards zero waste and better sustainability practices. In Phoenix, Emma Lockhart, Cronkite News.
Residents can purchase a composting bin for $5 at the city's disposal facility, and the city will collect their yard and food waste on regular trash days. Arizona is known for cotton and citrus, but these aren't the only abundant crops growing in the state.
Last year, Arizona exported 18 million rose bushes and continues to be a leader in the industry. Reporter Kanakja tells us more about the national flower growing in our state.
When you think roses, you probably think California. Desert dwellers might be surprised to learn rose growing in the state goes back to the 1950s. I took a trip out to Litchfield Park to learn more about the current industry. Blistering summer heat is headed our way, but that doesn't stop the roses in Arizona from blooming. Noelle Johnson is dedicated to finding the perfect desert rose.
So the roses I have in my garden are put here to see how do they do, and then the growers ask me for my feedback. So one of the most exciting things for me is getting free roses in the mail, and I put them in my garden and see what happens.
Growers around the world ask Johnson to test rose variations for durability in the desert heat. We might not think roses will last here, but Tyler Francis says the climate is perfect.
We grow over 1,000 different varieties of rose bushes on this farm, and of that we have 50 different reds. So there's a lot of different variations, and the best thing to do is the one that draws you in is the one that you should buy.
Francis Roses is one of 4 commercial rose growers in the state. In December, Francis will ship out about 5 million bushes. The roses that Arizona ships out accounts for about 3/4 of the U.S. rose bush market. But these aren't the flowers that you would see in your Valentine's Day bouquet. Stem-cut roses are imported from overseas and might last you 2 weeks. But in Arizona, planting a rose bush that blooms almost year-round is easy.
Roses get a bad rap for being finicky, but they're not. They're very, very hardy plants. If you give them just a little bit of love and attention and you water them, you don't need to be a pro.
Francis says the rosebush industry is worth about $500 million and is a significant part of the state's agriculture.
I would really like to see the 5 C's in an R, because we are the cornerstone of the entire rose industry here in Arizona, and I think it's something that all Arizonans should be proud of.
As for Johnson, she says we can show our pride by getting out our gardening gear.
Grow roses, life is short.
So far this year, Arizona has exported 6 million rose bushes. Rose growers say they've seen the growing process become more streamlined and expect more consolidation in the industry in the next few years. In the newsroom, Kanakja, Cronkite News.
An Arizona State University study is shedding light on the impact slumber party programs may have on shelter pets. Cronkite News reporter Mia Maslar went to the Arizona Animal Welfare League to find out why animals' personalities shine outside of the kennel.
The Arizona Animal Welfare League is home to dogs of all sizes ready to be adopted. Michael Moorfield has been with the shelter for 3 years. He says the shelter's slumber party program is increasing its adoption rate. Volunteers can take dogs like Monet home for 3 days. In that time, special bonds can form.
But we've also seen slumber parties lasting less than 24 hours. People will come in and say, I don't need 3 days to decide that I want to adopt this dog. I want to adopt this dog right now.
Lead ASU researcher Lisa Gunter looked at how one night away from a shelter impacted animal welfare by measuring a stress hormone in their urine.
So from there, we're just looking at the differences between the day before they go to that time when they were just finishing their sleepover to that next day.
And researchers saw the dog's stress level significantly reduced.
The Arizona Animal Welfare League says about 3/4 of the pets who go through the slumber party program are adopted. For those that make their way back, they find out things about them, like personality traits they may not see while they're in the kennels.
By asking volunteers to take notes during the sleepover, the shelter learns about the animal's personality traits outside of the kennel.
We also learn really quirky things about them, like Luna loves cats, or Big Bertha steals couches.
We've moved to the point that not only are we adopting out dogs, but now we're caring about how they're feeling in the shelter before they find their homes.
Gunter says there will be more studies across the country, including right here in the Valley. In Phoenix, Mia Mazlar, Cronkite News.
Gunter says dogs will wear activity monitors in later studies to better contextualize the ups and downs in their stress levels. Researchers are heading to more shelters in Montana, Atlanta, and Texas this year.
Fulfilling a son's wish brought a furry family member halfway around the world. Cronkite News reporter Joe Constantine introduces us to this special dog in need of a leg up.
You could just tell by the look on her face that she was just an amazing soul to begin with.
Tobin Bryant was stationed in South Korea when he was hit with puppy love.
I was about 2 weeks out of leaving Osan and walked by the kennel out there. Homeward Bound is the name of the rescue. And walked by, and sitting in the kennel was this beautiful little orange husky.
Bryant's 6-year-old son wanted an orange husky more than anything, so he adopted Tara.
Tara's journey might be a lot different than you think. She started in South Korea, then made her way to Alaska, then all the way down to where she is now in Tucson, Arizona.
The rescue group believes she was destined for a meat packing plant, but now, 7,500 miles later, she's found her forever home.
She's a special girl, and I know that that family really loves her, and it's great to see that they're able to give her something to give her a fuller life.
From a quick glance, Tara looks like an ordinary dog running around and playing, but if you look closely, you'll see her back leg has a prosthetic.
You know, they thrive on that fourth leg, and I think she's a good example of that. That's a very high energy dog who wants to go. She has bursts of energy, but she can't really express those bursts of energy on just 3 legs.
Her back left leg was cut at the paw. The prosthetic allows for Tara to have that fourth paw and be able to run and play without pain. With that, though, comes rehab.
To make sure that she's using it properly, because we certainly don't want to have a device that's going to change her gait and cause compensatory issues. So we always recommend that they do rehab after they have the device.
Tara is continuing her physical therapy, but that back leg isn't slowing her down. In Tucson, Joe Constantine, Cronkite News.
Prosthetics such as Tara's cost around $1,500 and are made with the help of 3D technology.
Many people go to shelters to rescue animals, but now they can participate in a hands-on learning experience. Last week, the Arizona Humane Society held a Victory Vets Camp for teens, and Cronkite News reporter Madison Connor was there to get a glimpse of the veterinary field.
Victory Vets is a week-long career discovery program for teenagers from 13 to 17. The camp is more than just fun and games. Participants learn exactly what it takes to succeed in the animal world.
They start with learning about veterinary medicine, how to get into the field, what that truly entails, and then interacting in some age-appropriate activity. So we do a little bit of suturing, we watch live surgeries, we make all types of different anatomy models for them to get kind of that hands-on hands-on interaction with every different aspect of animal science.
Participants also get the chance to dissect organs, to learn about animal anatomy, and how to properly handle pets. The main goal of the camp is to inspire the campers to continue learning and strengthen those science skills.
We want to inspire kids within our own community, especially here locally around the shelter, to pursue these opportunities. And being that they are STEM-based, they also serve as a supplementary source for anything they might already be learning in school.
As well as getting hands-on STEM education through veterinary medicine, they also get plenty of time with the animals in the shelter.
While some kids attend just for the animal interaction, one participant is already planning her future as a vet, thanks to attending the camp last year and returning again for this session.
Leaning more towards either what they do here, which is just like a spay-neuter clinic and on occasion a special surgery, or equine medicine.
Between surgeries, dissections, and properly handling pets, these kids are putting their knowledge to the test this summer. In Phoenix, I'm Madison Connor, Cronkite News.
While the Victory Vets Camp is over, there are still opportunities to get involved with animal education. To learn more, go to www.azhumane.org.
The Arizona Game and Fish Community Fishing Program can expect a jump in fish populations this month. After having leftover money for the year, they decided to use that money to buy more fish for the lakes and ponds throughout the state. I dove in to see what exactly that means for the community.
250,000 fish are being stocked into Arizona waters after Arizona Game and Fish found some spare dollars for urban lakes.
We had some money unexpectedly come to us. There was a couple of projects that fell through and the money had to be spent before the end of the fiscal year. So it came down from the top, said buy some fish. We said yes, we will.
This is being done in order to help support the community fishing program, which is completely self-sufficient.
This program was designed to be self-sustaining and pay for itself, hence the partnership fees and the separate license, the community fishing license, as opposed to the general fishing license. So we wanted to make sure it was a self-sustaining program and not a drain on anyone.
But stocking the lakes does take a lot of work. Arizona Game and Fish teams up with cities as well as Mr. Fish, the fish stocking company that drives the fish from Arkansas. Besides checking the water quality, it is important to also check on the fish.
I want to make sure that the fish are going in, and when they're jumping at the surface, they're popping and acclimating nicely. They look like happy fish.
Not long after the fish were stocked, people started to show up with fishing poles. One had some advice for fellow park goers.
It's a good thing when people don't abuse it. It's a good thing when people don't come. You know, if you bring your trash to the park, take it home with you.
Anglers will be able to catch trout, bass, and catfish throughout the month of June.
As the fish are being restocked across the state, make sure to take note of the rules and guidelines shared by the Arizona Game and Fish Department, as well as the park where you plan to fish.
Summer camps provide an opportunity for people to get away, learn new skills, and meet new friends. But most camps are meant just for children. Cronkite News reporter Carson Bush-Jost was at Idlewild Arts Academy, which offers summer camps for adults.
Dawn Gulland was looking for a life-altering experience.
Just to try and kind of bring life and vitality back to yourself.
After a career as a CPA and stay-at-home mom, Dawn decided to follow her passion.
I was looking into glass blowing. I always thought it was really interesting. It was kind of a bucket list item.
She was drawn to Idlewild Arts Academy, one of 3 overnight camps of its kind in the western U.S. Located 2 hours east of Los Angeles in a remote area nestled in the San Jacinto Mountains, Idlewild offers an immersive experience.
We've been a place that changes lives through the transformative power of art.
The school was founded in 1946 and has nurtured thousands of artists since.
We bring in top quality music faculty, visual artists from top universities across the country.
For 9 months out of the year, it's a residential high school. But during the summer, the academy offers the Adult Arts Center. Individuals stay for a week to learn a craft of their choosing, like ceramics or painting. Other classes include Native American arts, music, and writing. Dawn is one of 300 to 500 adults that go through the program each summer.
It recharges your batteries, makes you feel wonderful again.
After a week, students head back to lead their normal lives, but leave with a new skill, a few more friends, and a different outlook on life. In Los Angeles, Carson Bush-Jost, Cronkite News.
Week-long classes are $765, but Dawn's experience, which includes room and board, goes for approximately $1,400.
Every year, thousands of people take the unconventional trip up to this hidden Arizona bar. Alexa Arms takes us up to Parker, Arizona to show us what makes this place such an unusual oasis.
How far would you go for a beer? A 5-mile off-roading adventure up the unpaved Cienega Springs Road will take you to Arizona's most remote bar. A 3-decade-old, off-the-grid, handmade work in progress.
This is what I want to do because I can create anything.
What started out as a 5-stool operation grew into something much bigger thanks to the help of solar energy.
Solar, I mean, with me out here, it's a big thing. Each time you add something, you got to have the power to go with it.
The solar panels capture enough sunlight to power all lights, appliances, and even some air conditioning. These additions have allowed the bar more opportunity to appeal to a larger clientele.
Whether you're an athlete, a movie star, a rich person, a poor person, a person from Europe. Today we had people from Australia. Every type of people come here.
The Desert Bar has become a staple in the Parker community, and it's the hospitality and uniqueness that has drawn people in for over 30 years.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, you know? I mean, it's just like, where else do you find a place like this?
The greatest thing here is no electronics.
The lack of cell reception also allows for more meaningful conversations.
Anywhere else, everyone's on their cell phones, not here.
The Desert Bar has already begun plans for next season's editions. Aside from more solar panels, what's to come is a surprise. In Parker, Alexa Arms, Cronkite News.
The Desert Bar is open from October until the end of April. This is the last weekend to make a trip up there until next season.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.